Welcome back to Who Wears Your Pants. I'm here with Lauren, my dear friend.
Hey.
And we are already knee-deep talking about the world of dating. Okay, so you were just talking about
My insurance, work, weird situations.
yes,
Yeah.
and how people would come to you saying that they wanted to buy insurance, but really they just wanted to ask you out on a date.
Yeah. And wasted my time. And I was like, okay, like download a dating app or something. I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
Trying to grow business here.
So my question is, so that's such a negative. What are others? Where you're like, please never do that. So that if there's a guy that's listening, you can be like, okay, I am never gonna steal a woman's work time just to ask her out.
I don't know. This just came to mind when you just asked me like for another one. I just remember this gentleman called me one day and it was a client transfer and I'm talking to him on the phone and he stops like in the middle of our conversation and he's like, may I just say you have a really nice phone voice? Like it's very calming. I was like, oh, okay. Well, thank you. He's like, yeah, like it's very soothing. Like I really like it. I was like, okay, let's talk about some coverage.
You're like, well, let me hypnotize you into buying some life insurance.
Buy all of the life insurances with me.
Oh, you do have a really hypnotizing
Oh,
voice.
thank you.
You should do talk radio or something.
Oh my gosh. Well, this is my first shot at it, so here we go.
Well, that's a compliment, though.
Thank you. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
it wasn't a
for
bad
him.
thing. It just
Okay.
was like a funny, like,
Thought
went off.
that
Yeah.
came up. Okay.
I would say I had some unique situations in the beginning where they just kind of wrote me off. Like they wanted everything like now, yesterday. But, I have a process of like how I do things. And it was just kind of like very dismissive and disrespectful. And it was at a stage in my career where I was established. And so the idea of like writing anything and everything that came across my desk wasn't as much of a thing as it was maybe when I first got started. And I just remember this particular individual was just very rude and very demeaning to me for no reason at all. And I just remember in the beginning of the conversation saying, excuse me, thank you for your time and your interest, but this is not going to work. So with the most respect, I'm going to end the call now, and I wish you the best in your search for insurance.
Ooh.
And he literally just hung up.
I love that.
And it was like the most like rewarding thing. And it just has like, I don't know, you just need to know your worth, right? And your value. And if you don't, we're going to have some problems.
Because I feel like so many people would put up with that. They'd be like, okay, I have to just bite my tongue and deal with the comments to get the sale.
Yeah. Give me that policy. I got to get it. No. Because like later when there's a problem, I don't want to deal with you because you're not being nice now. You're definitely going to not be nice later.
Yeah. Ooh, how did that feel when you were like, okay, goodbye?
I hung up the phone and I got up out of my office and I walked down the hall and I talked to one of my guys I work with and I was like, oh my God, do you just know what happened? And then we laughed about it and I was like so empowered at the same time because I was like, I can't believe I just did that. But it felt so good, right? Because it was like, you need to be like a respectful human,
In any capacity.
in any capacity, whether I'm selling you something, servicing something, or just trying to like get to know you, girl.
Oh my God. That reminded me of, this was like the first time I ever did this was when, and this was like a guy who I knew in like kind of a professional manner.
Yeah.
And I felt like he was kind of hitting on me. And then it came out after we had worked together that he ended up asking me out. And in my mind, I was like, if I stop working with this person, if I say no, he's probably not going to want to work with me in a professional manner. And I'm kind of in this weird pinch now. But I was like, you know what? Forget that. I don't want to deal with that. So I was very straightforward.
Yes.
And it felt the same way. I was like, this is so empowering. And I told him, I was like, thank you so much. I'm very flattered that you asked me out. I do not want to take our relationship into that space.
Yes.
Super happy to continue working with you. Hope all is well.
Amazing.
And because I was like really straightforward with him, he replied back to me very respectfully.
Yes.
And was so happy that I was super clear, because before I would have been like, oh, you know, I'm just not really dating right now, or like I just ended a relationship, so I'm not dating. And then 3 months later he'd be like, oh, so you want to go to that dinner?
Yeah.
Anyway, it was very exciting.
But would you have ghosted him?
Oh, no.
Oh, exactly. I'm just going to go ahead and say there's so much empowerment by just communicating with the other party instead of ghosting.
Yes. I feel like, okay, so for everyone that's listening or watching, ghosting is the topic is what brought us here this evening. So that like worked out really well into the car.
Like going there, girl. It's my first time.
Lauren.
Yes, girl.
Please tell us your recent ghosting story.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so get ready, guys.
And do you want me to tell you a quick stat?
I would love a stat.
Because I got really excited and I looked some up today.
Yeah.
71% of men are involved in ghosting. But get this, 82% of women are involved in ghosting.
No.
Yes. No. So basically, you've either been ghosted or you've ghosted someone. The odds are heavily in your favor. And I think we should stop that. Ready, set, tell your story. Let's hear it.
Okay. We definitely need to stop it. Okay. So here we go. So fun story. So I'm a mom. I've got a 14-year-old girl. Okay. She's amazing. Anywho, one of my mom friends is how I like to say them or describe them, was chit-chatting with me about Delray Beach, Florida. Any Delrayers out there?
Woo, woo.
Okay. Apparently it's a really cool place to be. Still haven't gone yet. It's on my list. But she's telling me, you know, I need to go to this place, like envision private jets in and out, yachts, like fit people, nice, beautiful, everything is great, right? And I'm like, okay, like that sounds cool. Yeah, I could be up into some yacht life. And she's like, can't you just take your dating profile and drop yourself there? I'm like, okay, yeah, I can. So I dropped myself in Delray Beach, Florida. And she's like, you need to find yourself a yacht broker. I was like, okay, don't know about that yacht life, but I'm about it. So it's exactly what I did. Sorry, you got to have like the background, right?
Yes, all of it.
So I dropped myself in Delray, Florida. And, you know, I'm swiping along and I connect with this Australian man. I know, that accent, it gets you every time. And, you know, we start chit-chatting away, and I happened to be on the in Virginia at the time. It was a Saturday morning, and he was like, oh, you know, what are you up to? And I'm like, oh, I'm actually on a history tour because I was on my daughter's 8th grade DC trip. Swiping, being multitasking.
Abe Lincoln over here.
Meanwhile, swipe. Yeah, so whatever, we were chatting it up, and I told him right out the gate, like, look, I don't live in Florida. I have a 14-year-old, and I'm on a 8th grade DC trip, thinking you're probably going to stop talking to me right then and there, right? Mm-hmm. Doesn't. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Continues the convo. We end up speaking literally the entire week that I'm gone and traveling around the East Coast. And he ends up being a yacht broker as well. Coincidence. So it was exactly what my little mom friend was like, you got to find this. I was like, this is fun. So he happens to come to San Diego often. And he was like, well, you know, I'm going to come out there in like 2 or 3 weeks. I would love to take you to dinner when I arrive. And I'm like, okay. Thinking like, this guy is ridiculous.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, sure.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay. Like, let me just write that down for every man that wanted to take me to dinner and then didn't fall through. Right. So like, whatever. So I'm fine. So fast forward 2-3 weeks, he comes out makes a plan, which I'm like, okay. I still had not talked to this person over the phone. So like slightly like, am I being catfished? This seems like really good to be true. Like, you're Australian, you're a yacht broker, you're funny, like conversation is great. And we FaceTime phone tagged for a week. How that's even possible, I don't know. We never got on a FaceTime. And I basically just showed up at a restaurant, went to dinner, had the best time.
He was there.
He was at dinner. He was at dinner, yes. I showed up. He made this like beautiful plan. We had all the fun. And immediately he kind of starts saying like all of the things that you would want maybe somebody that you've been with for a few months to start saying to you. And this is happening within hours of meeting me. So I'm like, okay.
So let's like an example.
Okay. He's like, oh, I just adore you. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you just met me. And that's literally what I said to him. I was like, oh, you just met me. Like, you don't even know me. Right? Like, I'm not a dumb girl, okay?
Yeah.
And he's like, no, like, I just can't quite put my finger on it. There's just something about you. I just know I adore you already. I'm like, okay.
I feel like I adore me.
I mean, there's a lot to adore. No, I'm just kidding. No, so just like very intense, kind of like out the gate. And again, things that maybe you would want a person that you were seeing after quite some time to start seeing to you. But it felt like a lot right away. So we had a great dinner. We had a wonderful evening, and I ended up, we stayed, we had breakfast in the morning, like ordered room service, had all of the fun, right? And kept it very G-rated. Don't worry, everybody. But
it's like a 17-hour date.
But like a 17-hour date, right? Like, I feel like I just got to know this person like fairly well. And by the next day, it's like, oh my gosh, I have you and I get to have a mini of you. Like, I couldn't ask for a better situation, like more words. I'm like, this is like a lot. Insisted on driving me home. I'm like, you don't even live here, but like, okay. Not putting me in a rental or in a Uber. Such a gentleman, opening all the doors. Like, oh my gosh, I left out a really funny piece about dinner. So I have this thing of like, when I go out on a date, tip guys, when you go out on a date with a girl, I don't know about you, but I really like when we sit down, I'm just like trying to get to know you, like just order for the table. Like, I don't want to think about it, right? And this guy, we sit down and he's like, the waitress walks up and she's like, oh, like talking about the menu. And he's like, yeah, just bring the best of everything on the menu. Not even a like order this, and that. It was the best on the menu. I was like, yes.
So you were like, I love that.
I love that. I love when they just order for the table, right?
I think that's such a thing that some people either love it or they hate it.
So
because some women are like, I can't believe you think that I don't want to think for myself.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Because I feel like I took this poll after, and they're like, love it, hate it, don't control me. I don't like that. Me personally, just order. Like, I don't care. I'm open. And so it was just really funny. Like, he was checking off all the boxes, even like these stupid little things of like ordering the best for the table. That was like one up of what I thought I liked. Right? Oh God, so funny. So
you have that date. It's amazing.
Have the date.
Takes you home.
Amazing. Takes me home. Insistent. I'd be offended if you didn't let me drive you home. Okay.
Saying all the right things.
All the right things. I end up seeing him later that evening. We just went to like a little mini dinner, had some drinks, and he was leaving the next morning to go back to Florida. All good. I said goodbye that evening, and before I left, now mind you, this has been like less than 48 hours, and he's like, okay, well, we're just going to have to figure this out. I'm like, we're going to have to figure this out. Like, what do you mean? Like, He's like, well, like maybe I'll just come back next weekend, or like, I'll fly you out. Like, we'll just figure it out. Okay. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Okay. Okay. Bye. I'll see you later. So this is that's Saturday night. Sunday flies home. Monday calls me and it's like, hey, so I'm not going to be coming to San Diego for work this weekend. I was like, okay, like no problem. And he's like, but if you want me to come, I will just book a flight and come right back. I'm like, what?
like, is this too good to be true?
Like,
Still.
I mean, because I really enjoyed our time, right? So, like, who wouldn't be excited for you to, I don't know, fly across country again to come see me?
How many times did he do this? Did he fly to San Diego to see you?
Twice.
Okay.
Yeah, but 2 weekends in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he ends up coming back. That actually flew back in that Thursday, and then it's so wild, right? Like, you find your stay. Mm-hmm. Anyways, flies back that Thursday, and I had plans all weekend long. Just a friend's dad had passed away. Like, I couldn't, cancel on that dinner. I had a friend's birthday. And he's like, no worries. Like, keep everything as is. If you have time to see me, great. I'm available. If not, that's fine too. I'm like, okay, cool.
Mind you, he's flying all the way from Florida
to
San Diego
to come hang. Okay. Flatter me this. So I told him I had this dinner on Friday, didn't feel right about it. And it also just wasn't appropriate to bring him or invite him into the situation. Mm-hmm. So he's like, well, how about this? How about I pick you up on Friday? We'll go down to the area that you're going to have dinner. We'll do our thing. I'll drop you off. I'll go to the yacht club. Let me know when you're done. And then I'll come back and get you and we'll carry on. I'm like, okay. We do exactly that. It's perfect. My friends end up wanting to meet him. So we invite him back after we have our time. We all hang out. It's all the fun. We have a great time. Next day, decides, I have a friend's birthday up in Orange County. And I didn't think that I wanted him to come at first because that's just like a lot to like invite you. I've technically gone on 3 dates with you, even though they're like
things are expedited when it's distance.
Yeah.
But still.
But it was like, I just wasn't quite sure, right? And then by the time I was done with him on Friday, I'm like, okay, yeah, just come with me. I don't care. But again, it was, well, how about this? How about I drive you to Orange County? I'll drop you off at your friend's birthday. You have time with her. I'll go for a surf. Let me know when you're done. I'll come back and get you. And then, by the way, I want to take you to my favorite hotel in Santa Monica. You're going to love it because I have a thing for hotels. And then I want to take you to my favorite dinner place. And you're going to love it.
Another dream.
Another just night. Like on top of it of like
meanwhile, he's like, you're just the sweetest thing ever. And I can't even do an Australian accent. It's Australian accent.
I can't. I would try, but it's just butcher it. Yeah. So just like, taking initiative, planning, super respectful, like very attentive, just wonderful and so kind and so funny. And we're having all the fun. And so we do exactly that. It's a great weekend. He brings me back home. And like after he drops me off, I'm like, okay, well, he could just very well say like, bye-bye now. Right. And he didn't. I hear from him like shortly after he drops me off, had the best weekend, all the things. And he ends up staying till that following Wednesday. And sure enough, ended up doing some work things while he was here and had to be up in Santa Barbara on Monday morning, come back to Newport Tuesday morning, had another appointment on Wednesday in Newport, but decided to come back down to San Diego because he just wanted to come see me before he headed out again. Even though he had to turn right back around, right, and be back. So again, plans a great dinner. We have all the fun. And he leaves Wednesday. And from the moment that he left, I just kind of started to be like, okay, this is interesting. Like, we didn't talk about him coming back this time. But he was still asking, what are we going to do? How are we going to make this work? Maybe I should start looking for jobs out here. And the businesswoman in me is like, you don't pay taxes in Florida. Don't come out here. I'll just fly out there.
You're like, no.
Yeah. Come on, like, let's be like smart about this, right? Mm-hmm. But I was like kind of like at the same point, still kind of like, you're going to try to like just move after, again,
4 dates.
Four dates. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, this is like kind of a lot. Like, cool, but like maybe months.
I freak out after like months of spending time with someone. They're like, do you want to spend the day together? And I'm like, what?
You're like, what? I know. And you're like, I was looking for jobs today is what he told me. I was like, whoa. Hold the phone. I like Florida.
Okay, so he leaves, but it feels weird.
He leaves. It's fine. This whole entire time, he's been the first to text, call, FaceTime. I've never initiated conversation
And he was like
once.
pinging you all the time.
All the time, calling me all the names, like you name it, he was doing it in like a positive way, right? And it felt great to be pursued, all of the things. So then he ends up going home, and that following weekend was going to be Memorial Day. And he's like, hey, what are you doing? I said, oh, I've got some stuff going on with my daughter. I can't, go anywhere. And he's like, oh, okay. I've got to go to the Hamptons. I've got to get the yachts up to the Hamptons. Like, this is like, okay, sign me up. And I just, from the moment that he told me that, I started to feel like, I feel like you're going to disappear when you go. And this, by this point, had been about 6 weeks that we had been kind of going back and forth and in communication. And I kind of just felt like you're going to ghost me when you go to Hamptons. Nothing had changed. He's still pinging me every day, saying all the things, using all the emojis, like doing everything the same. All the emojis. He's an emoji freak. Anyways, I do love emojis though. So he goes, so a couple of times he had told me, and I quote, I found myself missing you today. I'm like, okay, noted, that term. So I decided to use his own verbiage on him because I kind of was just trying to get a feel for like where he was at, because I just had, for whatever reason, this gut feeling, you're going to ghost me. So I'm just going to like put it out there and like see where it falls. So he had texted me right before he got on his flight, and I responded to his message. And then at the end of the message, and mind you, this whole entire time I'm not feeding into all of the things that he's saying. I'm like,
You're like,
oh, okay, nice. But like not like, oh, I miss you too. Like nothing like that, right? So this was the one time that I went ahead and just put it out there and was like, responded. And then at the end said, oh, I found myself missing you this morning. No response. This is like 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday. I'm like, okay, no response. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, long weekend, no response the entire time.
Oh my God.
I'm like, okay.
You're like, did you die?
I'm like, no. And it was just like, oh my God, like I felt this. I knew this was going to happen. And so waited all weekend, said nothing. And Tuesday morning comes along, and I all weekend was like, kind of bummed out. Like, what the heck just happened? I've literally talked to this person every single day. Like,
for a few months.
Like, you seem like so happy and like you're into this. You're flying across the country to see me. And for you just to go like silent all of a sudden, like seemed like we're adults. Like, can we communicate? At this stage in life. And so I ended up sending him a very nice, non-threatening message on that Tuesday morning of just like, hey, hi, just wanted to check in. Haven't heard from you. Kind of bummed me out. I didn't hear back from my last message. Everything that you've done kind of sounds or seems a little disingenuous, like it was done for ulterior motives. Like, do you have anything you'd like to share with me about this? And I kind of wrote it with the intent of not really getting a response back, right?
He ghosted you.
Yeah, like I was like, you literally just ghosted me. Like, why? And he ended up responding to me like 8 hours later, which I was shocked that I even got that. And it was very short, very brief. And it just said, I'm so very sorry, Lauren. I just don't know how to make it work with the distance and my travel schedule, but you are such a wonderful person. I was like, okay, thanks. Next time. No, and I just like responded, and everyone's like, you're too nice. I'm like, well, whatever. I just want to leave everything
Well, what's the point
better
of
than I
getting
found
mad
it.
at
Yeah, it's just like, my, like, the whole thing is, I just said to him, like, it would have just been nice for you to communicate, like, that's how you are feeling, instead of being, like, gone silent, you know? And that's what I said. And then that was it. But it's just, like, so
he love bombed you, which we can definitely talk about too. And the whole, when I was researching all of this ghosting stuff, I think, so the number one reason why they say people ghost is because they're conflict avoidant.
Yeah.
Man up and have the conversation. Why is that so hard?
I just feel like it's just so disrespectful to, like, leave people hanging like that. Like, you can let somebody down in a very respectful, kind way that has to do, like, it doesn't have to be this dramatic thing, you know? Just, like, tell them. Just tell them.
Just say it.
Just say it.
Even a text message. Okay, because I was like, I remember, it was avoiding confrontation. The second is not living up. Oh, well, this is dating reasons for why people ghost, but it was not living up to their profiles photos. Excuse me. So it's like, if they met, they were not who they thought they looked like. Yeah. Then they get ghosted. The other is that the other person is too clingy or needy, so they just ghost them, which is so sad.
There's a little bit of the opposite in this situation. Yeah. And my photos totally look like me.
Oh yeah, totally, 100%. That's not it. He was just like conflict avoidant.
Yeah, totally. I think so. Yeah.
Which a lot of people are, not even just in dating, but in everything in life.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's a whole nother topic. We'll save that for another day.
So if anyone has just been ghosted, you are not alone.
Yes. But, like, people, men, women, like, just find a nice way to say it, you know? Like, I recently went on a little beach walk with somebody, and it was somebody that I knew for a long time. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Like, we can go on a walk, like, super friendly, not thinking anything more. And then obviously, like, after that walk, I was like, oh, okay, you're, like, trying to, like, see if there's something here, right? And a couple days later, he's like, hey, I want to invite you to come to this workout thing with me. It could be Sunday, Monday, or any day you're available. I was like,
any day.
Any day. And, you know, and I could have very easily just said nothing. But, like, I just told him, I'm sorry, I'm not available. That was it. Like, I didn't have to have more than that. It was just, I'm not available. And, like, he put the 2 and 2 together, right? Yeah. And, like, some are going to get it and some aren't. But, like, sometimes I feel like we have to justify our answer.
Totally.
Whereas if I just say, like, hi, nice to hear from you. However, I'm not going to be available. That was it.
Yeah.
And all he said was, like, okay, thank you for letting me know. And that was it. Like, you know, is it always going to be that easy? No. But
every time you do that, it feels better and it gets easier.
Yes.
That's what I found. It's like the more we're just like, we're rejecting everybody. No. Yeah. But the more you can say, no, thank you.
Yeah.
So sweet of you.
Yes.
I'm going to pass.
Yes. You're just not vibing. I mean, I had a guy, like, talking about, like, rejection. I had a guy, we went on a couple dates. It was a great time. Like, I was so into him. He was just all the things, minus a few things, but, like, a lot of things. He was great. I was very, very interested. And I invited him to my birthday party, which was so much fun on a boat.
I was there. It was a good time.
Just, like, channeling that yacht life already, you know? But I invited him because I was like, you know what? This is going to be a super fun day. He came, brought a friend. Was I a little wild? Yeah, it was like my first day after, you know, quarantine, and it was my birthday. So, like, was I a little excited? Maybe, but not out of control. I consulted with my friends. They told me I wasn't. They would tell me. Was I?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I was out of control.
Oh, no.
Okay. I was just having fun in the sunshine. Anywho, I was super into him, and he ended up sending me this message after and was like, hey, I just wanted to communicate something really quick. You are such a kind, sweet person. However, I don't think that we're compatible for one another. I would love to be your friend if you're open to that. Oh my gosh, you guys, like, it made me like him even more.
I was just going to say that.
I was like, oh my gosh, you're such an excellent communicator.
Mm-hmm.
But I totally respected the fact that he just wanted to make it clear.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like, I don't think we're compatible. Like,
yeah,
it's okay. I've given you 2. I'm not available. And I don't think we're compatible.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, use them.
I'm like, is there another one?
Oh, I'm
trying to think.
Yeah, maybe.
You just say, I'm not available.
I'm not available.
I don't think we're, because I think when you say I'm not compatible, then you're acknowledging you're a beautiful person. I don't think that we would work long term.
Right.
It's nothing against you or I. We're just different people.
Right. And it could have been like, you know, he had a very different taste in music than I did. Like, he just had different background than I did. Like, there's just other things. And I think we so often take it personally, right? Mm-hmm. Obviously, like, this person is rejecting me. Mm-hmm. When in hindsight, it's just like, it's not a match. And you're not going to be a match with everybody.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe, like, take it as that, okay, like, such a beautiful lesson. On to the next. I learned something. Take the good from what you experienced. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's so beautiful. So the love bombing.
Yes.
Because this is when I was doing my research today, this is something that psychologists talk about.
Yes. So I had never heard of the term.
Crazy.
Ever.
I'm like, do we need to?
Do you need a stat? Do you have one?
I don't think I don't have any stats, but for anyone that's not sure what it is, it's basically this is the definition. An attempt to influence a person by demonstrations of attention and affection. It happens when someone overwhelms, they say, the victim with loving words or physical actions with manipulative behaviors. So, like, signs of this are when someone's giving you lavish gifts or calling, texting all the time. They want to go all in right away. Convincing you that you're soulmates from the start. Never ending compliments. So just like, you're beautiful, you're adorable, I love you in that. Oh, you're so good at this, you're great at that, you're perfect for this. Anyway, those are like some of the key symptoms. It's like a disease.
It's a disease.
Key signs.
You are a love bomber.
You are being love bombed.
Yes.
And I know a few friends that this has happened to.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, I know a couple of them, and it happens to them all the time. I'm like, how is it that you keep dating these people who for 2 months are obsessed with you and then boom, either drop you or completely flip a switch?
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, I had never heard of the term until this yacht man situation, because that's
prime example.
It's literally exactly what he did. And when I was reading up on it, because I was telling one of my girlfriends his story, and she was like, "Oh, you just got love bombed." I was like, "What?" Like, it's like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, I didn't know this was a thing, right? And the more I asked and like talked to other girlfriends, just like curious, like, am I in the dark about this? So many girls didn't know. And then when I explained it to him, I'm like, oh my God, I know that happened to so-and-so or whatever. So, yeah. And I that's 100% what this man did. But at the same time, the entire time that it was happening, I like knew it wasn't right, you know? And I feel like a man that is in a healthy headspace, that they're pursuing a relationship, like they know where their feet are. You know what I mean? They're not ever going to be like all over the place. Like they should have like a solid foundation. It shouldn't be like such a rush, at least so quickly.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can be stirred with emotions. Of course, like you can be excited about somebody, but for like, I love you, you're perfect. I've never met anybody like you. I've never had somebody capture my attention like you. Yeah. Like,
well, and for you, I think for him, I know you have a daughter. For him, from the start to say, "Oh, I get 2 of you," and like bringing her into it is, I mean, it was like a whole nother level.
Whoa, like let's keep them separate, sir. Yeah. But you know, and the more that I read about the whole love bombing thing, a lot of times the reason that it's done is they have some kind of narcissistic side to them where the idea is they kind of capture you or rapture you in this love emotion. And then once they have you, quote unquote, then they flip the switch. And because they've done so much for you, it's like you feel like you owe them something is kind of like the backside of it. And then the behavior changes. And unfortunately, it's like not like a good thing. But God, like.
Well, I remember, I might butcher this, but I do remember there's like, because it talks about you're basically in that, if that's the truth and it's coming from like a narcissist and you're dating a narcissist, how they do it is it's like, I saw this thing and they said, imagine that someone's handing you $20 bills. They're handing you 20, they're in the beginning, 20s, 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 20s. All of a sudden it stops. And you're like, wait, you're not giving me any more money. Like figuratively money, right?
Sure.
And then they give you a 10 and you're like, oh my God, okay, things are okay. And then they give you a 5 and then you're like, okay. And then they give you a $1 bill. And then before you know it, you're getting like quarters. And then you're like, this is wrong. So then you start pulling away and then all of a sudden they give you a 20. And then you're like, oh, it's back. That was just a weird time. And then they give you another 20 and then it's right back to dollars. If you like look at the relationship like that way, then you become, it's just like this really high and low, and it's all based in like how they're manipulating what they're giving you and taking from you.
Yes.
That was like the easiest way. I was like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense.
No, it's a great way of explaining it, right? And it's, they say, when you're in love, you have the same you release the same chemicals as you would like on, any kind of drug that you're addicted to. And it's like you get that like fill, right? Of like that $10 bill. It like brings you back in or like gives you that high or that rush. But it's not good. Like we want consistency. Right?
You're like, maybe just 5's the whole
just like 5's the whole way.
So I'm thinking to myself, if someone's in a situation, how would you, like from your experience, I guess now looking back, how would you recommend someone navigate that? Or like, do you have a conversation like, hey, this seems to be moving really quickly. Where is this coming from? Or like, I feel like in my experience, when someone says like, oh, like I'm really into you, and I do the thing, I'm like, you don't know me.
You don't know me. Right.
And I'm like, how can you be into me if you like,
Well, I feel like if you're hearing these things so fast, like within days or like even like the first few weeks, like that should be a red flag. Because like it's different to like tell someone like, I'm interested in you. And then it's another of like, you're my soulmate. I've never met anyone like you. I love you. Let's have babies. Like, whoa, I just met you like a week ago. Like, and I feel like number one, like that should raise a flag for you of like, pump the brakes for a second. Like, let me like take a step back. Like, is this normal? Right? Step 1. Step 2, consult with those around you, like your trusted friends and family. Like, hey, this happened. Like, let me bounce this off of you. Like, what do you think? And I think sometimes when you're in a situation that, especially if you're excited about it and you're into it, you miss things. You miss the flags, right? So it's good.
Like your blinders are on.
Yeah, you're in the picture. You can't see it. Right? When you're inside the frame, you got to be outside, see that whole picture. So I would say like, if you see it, like, wait a minute, this is a flag. And kind of to your point and kind of what I did, like, don't play into it. Right? Like, I think it's really easy to play into it because it feels good. It feels great when someone is showering you in like love and praise and giving you all the compliments and wanting to take you to do all the things and buy you, like it feels good. Like, who doesn't like that? Right? So I think it's just really important to just not give it all away and be like, okay, yeah, I love you too.
Well, and I'm wondering in this situation, because you were not doing that.
Yes. Like, I was too smart for him.
And he saw that and he was like, I don't think that she's going to get to be, she can't be my like plaything in San Diego because she's catching. She's like not, and you weren't like feeding it back to him, which like he probably wanted.
Well, and probably gets, right?
Yes,
like
exactly.
From like anyone else that he's doing
like,
this
oh,
to.
take me on a yacht. Like, oh, you're so amazing.
I just like sold so-and-so, they're yacht. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But yeah, no, I just, every time it was just kind of like, okay, yeah, you just met me. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that sounds nice, maybe.
Well, and what's hard about this is that when you have men like that, that you're navigating in this dating world, then when someone is actually genuine, you're like, can I trust you?
Yeah. Well, I just feel like, I don't know, I've had situations where, you kind of like keep them at arm's distance, right? Because you're like, whether you're
all about
trying to trying to get to know them, like in the beginning, right? You might be keeping at arm's distance because maybe they just got out of something, or you're trying to get to know them, or like get a better feel for like their friends and their whole life, whatever it is. But like, if you can just sometimes I feel we're in such a rush, right? Like all the time. Like when you're dating somebody, especially in the early stages, I think it's really important to remember like you have nothing but time to like get to know this person and like figure out if you are compatible. Like, don't go from 0 to 100.
Yeah, why?
What's the point? And I don't know. I think in my experiences where it's been like this long haul of like, not even like playing games. I'm not saying like playing games and dragging them along. I'm not saying that at all. Of just like keeping it at $5, right? Like slow and steady the entire time, just because you're really trying to get to know somebody. It can actually just, I have found it just makes the relationship like so much more fun when you just really take the time and you don't rush into things.
Because if you rush, then you miss things.
You miss things.
A lot of like great fun things.
Yeah. Or crazy flags. But like more fun.
Really fun things. Or huge red flags.
Or huge red flags are waving in every single area.
Okay, another red flag.
Oh.
I have experience in this one.
Give it to me.
A Peter Pan syndrome.
Oh, I've got one of those. Had one of those.
Yes. I'm like, okay, so the textbook definition of this.
Let's give it.
Is, okay, is a pipe,
Piper Peter Pan?
Peter Pan syndrome is a pop psychology term used to describe an adult who is socially immature. Basically someone that refuses to grow up.
Yes. Yes, so such a funny story. So a few years ago, I dated a guy for a long time, and from the moment that I met him, it was always known that he was going to be leaving us. Well, he lived in Orange County, but was going to be leaving Orange County to go open a hostel, a surf hostel in Nicaragua. Always knew that that's what he was going to do. And I'm like, okay, cool. So like, I'm just going to get to know you, and like, this will be fun. You're a great human. And like, turns out that doesn't always work out very well, because we ended up falling in love. That wasn't intentional, and I think either one of our parts. But he definitely had this like Peter Pan, I never want to grow up. I'm going to go open a party hostel in Nicaragua and surf the rest of my life. And like, that's my life goal. I'm like, okay, cool. That's fun. Maybe like a hotel or like a resort or something. I could be down with that. But hostels have their place. I love them. Right. But, I just felt like at our age, it just wasn't quite there.
Did he do that? Did he end up going?
So he ended up leaving. So we had dated. By the time he left, it was about a year later. And he did. I mean, opening a hostel in another country, like there's definitely something to be said there. Like there's a lot of work and buying land and like literally building it from the ground up. Like that was incredible. But he definitely had this like, I don't ever want to grow up and I don't want to like face certain things. And I think another like characteristic of Peter Pan, it's like they're always wanting to go on an adventure, like life's an adventure.
Yeah. And the thing about that is that it's so attractive.
It's so attractive.
You're like, this and they have so much joy for life because
my gosh,
you know,
yes.
being playful and tapping into your child is
Yes.
so amazing.
So, like, I want to be a kid all the time.
You're
and
like,
like,
who does want to
I
grow up?
I don't blame you, Peter. Okay, Peter Pan. Okay, Pan. Like, I want to go have fun and go on
Yeah.
all the adventures.
And so it's a very
right?
attractive
Totally.
place to find
For
yourself.
someone that's like outgoing and like
Yes.
wants to do all the
Yes.
things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, of which I feel like we're very similar in that space, right? Take me to do all the things in the sunshine, please. Yeah. But there was just other things like within our relationship that he was just,
But like maybe
Peter
don't
Pan.
live in your mom's garage.
yeah, I mean,
No.
don't do that. Don't do that.
So okay, so he leaves to go to Nicaragua.
Yep.
Did it just like things fizzle out or
And it
what?
was just like I told him like before he left, like, I'm not going to be able to like keep talking to you like as friends.
Mm-hmm.
I can't like cross that line and then like reverse. Like once we've crossed, it's crossed. Like
Yep.
it's not going to work out friend wise.
Yeah.
And we talked for like 2 or 3 months after he left, and then it kind of like started to fizzle out. I'd still hear from him, but he only ended up staying 8 months and then came back. So
In Nicaragua.
yeah, it didn't work out because there was like a lot of like rioting and things that happened at the time, so we had to come back. But there was just other things like he just, I don't think ever really wanted to grow up, and I think a lot of it had to do with just some like childhood stuff that he had experienced.
That's what I've noticed just from what I've experienced is like when
Yeah.
someone is in that Peter Pan state, it's largely due to the fact that they had some sort of like lack of parenting, traumatic childhood that basically they reached a point and they were like, I can't face being an adult, whatever that actually means. I feel like we're all children.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Or in our own way.
Yeah.
And so there's like definitely a connection. It's like, and I guess that would be a good indicator.
Yeah.
Like if you're trying to figure out if you're dating a Peter Pan.
Are you dating Peter?
Are you dating Peter Pan?
Are you Tink?
And I mean, Peter Pan could be a girl too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Totally possible.
Totally. Yeah.
But I guess like indicators for someone if they're dating, like is this just an adventurous? Because there's a difference between like an adventurous person,
Yes.
or like a Peter Pan.
Right. Well, I feel like, Peter doesn't want to commit normally, right? Like we want to like keep it open, keep it light. I feel like a commitment, like not having, I can't talk.
Like a lack of
A
commitment.
lack of like a desire to commit. I think that's like a characteristic.
Or like
right?
like avoiding conversations of any kind beyond like
The surface.
yes.
Right. Well, I mean, this came to mind. I remember we had probably been, together for like 7 months at this point. I've met most of his friends. Like we were going back and forth between San Diego and Orange County. And I remember there was a new group of friends I had not met, came to a friend of his house in our friend's house up in Orange County. And they walk in and he's introducing me to them. And he introduces me as, this is Law. She's my lady. She's my lady friend. She's my girl. She's my lady. Like he literally said that out loud. Like he couldn't, like, it was like an interesting thing to like, oh my gosh, identify Law is my girlfriend.
There's like, and you can like feel the anxiety that's like stemming. They're like, I can't do this. I think my body's shutting down because
oh my gosh.
commitment.
I can't. Yeah. But yeah, oh gosh. But he's a beautiful person.
Oh, they usually are.
Yeah.
They usually have like the
gosh.
brightest spirits and the biggest hearts.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny.
So that's another one.
So that's another one.
I'm like, what else do I put on my list here?
Oh my gosh. Oh, so
Of
funny.
like in the yes. Well, I think that actually Peter Pan syndrome is kind of connected to attachment styles and like an avoidant attachment.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I would totally agree with that.
Do you know what your attachment style is?
Remind me, there's 3 of them, right? I forget.
Yeah. So there's
something.
avoidant. I think that there might be like more, but it's avoidant, anxious, or
anxious,
secure.
attached, and secure. I think I'm the secure. Like that means like,
you're good to go.
Yeah. And then I attract like everything else kind of a thing. Right?
I don't know.
Like the opposite. I need to read that book again.
Well, so it's a really good book.
No,
actually,
it's really good. Yeah.
After I read it, it's called Attachment Styles. And after I read it, I was like, you're this, you're that. To like everyone that I knew, I was like my brother, my cousins, my parents, my friends, my coworkers. I was like, what is everybody? It was just like a fun game I would play in my head.
Yeah.
But basically, like anxious, it's avoidant and anxious attachment styles attract to each other.
Yes.
Because you're basically like reaffirming the attachment style that you have in yourself. So like an avoidant person, they're going to be like distant and closed off. They're going to avoid closeness.
Yes.
And then an anxious person like becomes very anxious.
Yeah.
If they're not getting that attachment.
Yes.
So they're like needy. They're the type of people that will like blow up your phone.
Yes.
Or like the type of people that can kind of like make you feel like you're claustrophobic.
Yep.
And you're like, I need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Secure, however, they're open and like secure in their attachment. So usually if like you pull in an avoidant or anxious person, you help them.
Yes. Yeah, I would say I'm secure attached. That's for so sure, which is why I attract Peter Pans.
Well, I mean, you could attract anxious people too. You never know.
Basically, anyone that like likes to dance around, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, girl.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so when you're on a dating profile, what are you looking for? Like what? Because I have had like in my mind, I'm like, if I see this, I'm like, no.
Yeah. No, absolutely not.
Okay, and really quickly, before
I
was like actually looking at stats. I don't remember. Oh. So I was looking up the majority of people, especially in the past year, probably because of COVID.
Yeah.
I forget the exact number, but it was like the vast majority of people more people have met significant others online than in real life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my sister-in-law met her now husband on Bumble and Hinge. They connected on both, or maybe it was Bumble and Tinder at the time. I don't remember. Oh yeah. But they're now married and have 2 babies. Like so cute. Yeah, they're great.
But yeah, so the majority of people are, if you're single, you're probably online dating.
Yeah.
So what do you like, a yes or a no for?
Oh my gosh. So I'm not like a big selfie taker. I don't take a lot of selfies. And so when I see dating profiles and like the guy has like more selfies than I have in my entire phone, I'm like, this is not going to work out.
Yeah.
Or like a selfie picture of like their body at the gym. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Even if you do have a nice body.
Even if you do, like I can appreciate seeing some abs later, but like not on your dating profile. That like every time it like makes me laugh. Like, and also you guys like show each other your dating profiles to your friends. You and I did this. Like we were like, okay, like what would you change? And like we totally made edits. And it's just like
QC'd, we audited.
Yeah. We're like, okay, this is good. You need this video. Take that out. You know, just get somebody else's opinion. I feel like guys, like they don't do it enough. Like I've consulted some of my guy friends too. I'm like, oh no, honey, like no, don't do that.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, I think people, they're like, they don't want to show it.
Yeah.
There's still like a little bit of a faux pas. I don't know what it is. Like a little, not stigma, but like a little bit of, I think people are like, ooh, like I'm online dating. But I'm like,
who cares?
The majority of people do it.
Yeah.
So like, get over it.
Just do it.
And ask your friends for help.
Just ask your,
or just ask
if you do, or just ask me. Send your profile to me and I'll edit it for you. That, or like, I don't know. I've seen a few lately that are like, I just want to make you happy and take you on long walks. I'm like, is this fake? Like, stop it. Like,
oh yeah,
you're annoying me.
You're like, are you being sarcastic?
Like,
or is this like?
Yeah, I don't think they are.
I think that a couple of mine have been, if I see a photo of a man with holding a motherfucking fish. Why? Girls do not care if you fish.
Okay, I actually really like to fish, but like, honestly, I don't need to see all your fish photos. I want to see a picture of you and take your sunglasses off and stop taking like group photos.
And then putting like bizarre smiley faces or like squiggle lines. I'm like, what is this about? Like, are you dating like the Kennedy family? Like, what is happening here? Why are you hiding?
Yes.
Like,
And
if your friends or your family are weird about a picture of them being on the internet, like, post a different picture.
And like,
I don't understand. This is
like,
like, I feel so
like,
silly, but when I would go on there, I
so
would just
true.
be like, I would like find myself. I didn't even know. Anyway,
there's definitely been a few times where I'm like, I just want to message you to be like, hi,
can I help
can you like take that down, please? It's not working for you.
I wanted to message people and be like, hey, I don't want to date you. I really want to help you with your dating profile. Can we please do this? Like, let's figure this out.
Have you ever done it?
No.
No, I haven't either.
This is like a little while ago. I like deleted my profiles because I was like, I just needed a break. And I was like, I don't want to do this. And it felt really good. Yeah. Because, Jesus, it can take a lot of time.
It takes.
And I was like, this is too much
time.
Yeah. And then another one that I have.
Tell me.
Is I've like never talked about this.
Oh, okay.
Is that even the fish thing? Maybe I have. I don't know. The fish thing is so stupid. Yes. I'm like, put the fish back in the sea.
But like low-key, I love to fish.
Okay, well, like maybe that's good for you.
That's fine. Yeah.
Is when the messages are like super negative.
Whoa. Wait, to you? Like from
like just on their profile, like not to me. They're just if you're on here for this, like forget it. Or like it's just like out the gates, they're super. There's just like this like angry ness to it.
Stop.
I'm like, get away from me. They're actually, this reminded me, this was like a guy that I never met in real life, but we like connected. We exchanged a few messages. Like, I love witty banter. So we were like, boom, 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 back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. I'm like,
yes.
Like sending voice notes.
Yes.
I find voice notes to be like the fastest way to like, to gauge someone. Cause you hear their voice, first of all.
Yep.
And second of all, they can't spend hours texting to come up with crafting the perfect message.
Right.
But we had been bantering. And then he asked me for my phone number.
Yep.
I was like, okay.
Yep.
I give it to him. And then he starts blowing my phone up. I mean, like message. He found me on social media, started commenting on my social media, started texting me about my social media.
Interesting.
And then he sent me a picture of him drinking a beer while driving his car.
Oh my God.
He was like, cheers, happy Friday. He's like in his car drinking a beer. And I'm like, I responded. And this was like after he blew it up. And I wasn't saying anything back. I was just watching it unfold. Like, whoa, homie.
Yeah.
And then he started doing the whole like, oh, like you're not responding because you're just too good for me.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And then he sent me that. And I was like, no one's too good for anybody.
Yeah.
First of all.
So you didn't ghost him?
No.
Good girl.
I didn't. I was like, no one's too good for anybody, first of all. Second of all, are you drinking a beer while you're driving?
Yeah.
And I felt like at that point, I probably was a little bit of a prude, but also that's not my jam.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I have a question actually for you with regards to social media. So, most people connect their social media. I choose not to.
Yeah.
Because I just feel like
mine was. I don't remember.
I'd love your opinion on this because I choose not to because I think sometimes like we'll all run to like the social media, like figure out like what's this person about. And I just like want to get to know the person for who they are before I like start making like all these like crazy judgments, which I guess could kind of go either way, right? Like you could be a psychopath, you could be cool, but I don't know. I just kind of like want to just like, okay, we're going to go out on a date. Let's just get to know each other while we're here and present. So what's your take on that? Do you think that you should connect it? Do you think pros and cons?
I liked being able to look at someone's social media.
Yeah, I think most people do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do agree that it kind of takes away a little bit of the mystery of getting to know someone.
Yeah.
I mean, but granted, I always take it with a grain of salt because I think to myself, this is just one aspect of who this person is, right?
Yes. True.
So there's that.
Yep.
And they can put whatever they want on there.
Yeah.
But I think that it's like if someone would put like 3 photos up.
Yeah.
you wouldn't be able to say like, how old are these pictures? Like, is this who this person actually is? And then if there's linked to their social media, then you get more. But let's just be real about it, because I have this theory that any young women between the age of like 22 and 35 ish, basically any woman who's single that uses dating profiles should probably work for the FBI, because I think in about 7 seconds we know everything about someone. It's like we know all that they say is their first name. They're like, Paul went to SDSU class, and then based upon their age, you know what class they are, you know what this, and then you can figure out what their last name. You're just like knowing all.
I know.
And I'm like, I think I should work for the FBI.
I mean, I basically like pretty good detective. But I guess I'm maybe I'm just a traditional gal, like just trying to, let's just go on an old. I mean, technically, Yacht Man was kind of like the best, closest thing I could ever get to a blind date.
Have you ever gone on a blind date? Someone set you up?
I don't think so.
I have.
Really? How'd it go?
It was set up by my aunt. I think this has happened like multiple times. She's
Really?
always like trying to set me up with people. It's just cute. He was a super nice guy and like really, really great. And I just like, he was traveling. We met and like went to dinner. I didn't feel anything for this person.
Yeah.
But I did it. It was actually, that's not the first time. I also I've gone on a few where it's like this guy saw photos of me in a friend's profile and he told her, he's like, oh my God, I want to meet this girl. And she like hooked us up, and I had no idea who he was.
So like, the whole detective thing, that's why I could never truly be blind for me, because I'm like, who is this person? Let me find them.
Yeah. You're like, I'm going to stalk them hardcore. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Oh, so yeah, I don't know.
Oh, well. Do you have any questions for me? Or let's see other topics you want to talk about.
I don't know.
Love languages.
Oh, I love a love language.
What's your
Oh
love
my
language?
gosh. So I'm basically like a box of love. When I did the test, I literally was like everything, like minus 1 point. So it was like 77665.
Oh. Well,
a ball of love is what I am.
So for everyone that's listening, there's 5 love languages, and this is basically how they can be different, how you receive love and how you give love. And it is.
So it's physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, gifts, and what's the other one?
Wait, quality time.
Quality time.
Oh.
I didn't say that. That was what it was. And quality time. Yeah. I am physical touch and words of affirmation were the leading 2 tied.
Ooh.
What's yours?
Well, definitely quality time.
Oh, yeah.
And then, like, I just love to spend time with people that I care about.
Absolutely.
And then this one's kind of interesting because I feel love through physical touch, but I'm, like, kind of, like, slow to give it.
Yes, same.
Like, I don't, like, some people are just like, hi, nice to meet you. Blah, I'm just going to, like, braid your hair and, like massage your arms and, like, kiss you. And for me, that's like something precious, and it like takes me a while to like get to a place where I'm like, ooh, let me like touch you. Yeah. But funny. It would be those 2. Yeah. I think.
You know, it's funny, in a friend aspect, I like want to give all the love and all the hugs, but in a romantic space, I actually am like, do not touch me unless I want to touch you. Because it's my love language, right? So like, if I'm not wanting to touch you, this is not going to work out. But if I'm touching you at the gate, I love you. Love bombing you. Let's go. Yeah, but love languages. Like, if you have not read that book, you need to read that book like 10 years ago.
We'll put it in the show notes.
Oh my gosh. And like, just take the test. Like, if you don't have time to read, I mean, you should really read the book, but at least take the test if you have not taken it.
Well, and it's not just for romantic relationships too, because I'll never forget this. I actually had a conversation with my brother, his wife, and my parents about what our love languages were. Yeah. And it was interesting because my sister-in-law, one of her big love languages is gifts. Oh. And for my brother, he was telling us this story. Shout out if you guys are listening. He was talking about how he's like, yeah, when we first started dating, she would always bring me these like weird little things, like a mug, or like she would travel and bring some like little trinket back. And he's like, what am I supposed to do with this? And then it wasn't until he took the test that he realized, oh my God, that is her way of being like, while I was out traveling, I thought of you.
That's right.
And like, this is like my symbol of that. And so then he was able to understand, this is how you're showing me that you have love for me.
Yeah.
So because like some people connect differently with things, right? Or stuff. So like that was a really cool story to hear, because I'm like, yeah, like sometimes we don't understand what someone's doing.
Right.
And then also it's helpful, like if you're dating someone, to be like, oh, so this is how this person feels love. I should do this more for them.
Yeah.
If I want to show them love.
Right.
In a way that they understand it.
Well, and like receive it, right? Like the way that they feel love might be very different from the way that you feel it. It is, I think, when you're dating someone, like they have actually, you can do love languages for dating, or like love languages for married couples. Like you can do the different tests. But it is just, I think if you know what your partner's love languages are, so many brownie points. Yeah, do it. Figure it out. Figure it out.
Yeah. Or just straight up ask. A lot of people know nowadays. Most of the
I feel like a lot of people
and like
know.
people like, they're like, oh, so what's your love language? Like right away.
Yeah, no, it is actually, I feel like that's a lot of like what people say on their Hinge profiles.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't, I don't know. I like everything very like light and funny and airy on the dating profile.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, let's not get into the weeds.
Like, it's not weeds.
Maybe that's why you're attracting Peter Pans.
Oh gosh.
You might need to audit your profile.
Oh gosh, you just did it. I mean, my Wonder Woman and my roller skating get a lot of attention.
Oh yeah.
So funny.
Oh my gosh. Well, do you have anything else that you would like to share? Any wisdom? Any topics?
Words of
dispo?
wisdom? I don't know. I just feel like anytime I have a romantic experience with somebody or love interest, I just think it's really important to just handle matters of the heart with like the utmost care and respect. And I feel like sometimes people, like, for whatever the reason, just throw that out the window. And so I just always try to like just remember that, and to always just leave everyone and everything better than you found it. Like that's like that's what I try to do, you know. Like obviously not every relationship or friendship's gonna work out, but like just like do your best to like be a good person and like be kind. It's so important.
It's so doable.
So doable. Like it's not that hard. And you actually feel really good afterwards.
Yes. For that other person feels good, you feel good, everybody feels good, and you grow.
Yeah. And then you're like, next please.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so my final question is, in light of the podcast,
Yeah.
and maybe like in the realm of dating or any part of your life,
Okay.
who wears your pants?
I definitely wear my pants.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. This is a really great time. Oh, where can people find you if they want to like date you or like talk to you?
I mean,
Or maybe if they want to have their dating profile audited.
yeah, if you want me to audit it, we'll put my email in the show notes, and Instagram Lolly2, LALLY2. Just say what's up.
Hey, girl.
Send me those screenshots. Slide into that DM. Show me that dating profile.
Oh my God, I love it. Thank you.
Thanks, girl. This was so fun.
Yeah. Woo! We
Bye.
did it. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Who Wears Your Pants. Please do me a favor and hit subscribe. Leave me a review or a comment so that I can turn this disaster of a show into something great. I need you. No, seriously, I do. And if you're feeling really invigorated, whatever. Check out my corner of the interwebs at kirstentrammell.com, or let's get really social on the gram at Kirsten__Trammell, because as a ginger, I need all the friends I can get. Peace and love, my homies. I will see you next time.